Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakwadash. Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, We Don't Need You Women, or We Don't Need the Israelite Women to Build Back the Kingdom. We don't need the Israelite women to build back the kingdom. This is a statement that King Mashar made many, many years ago in the street on 44th and Broadway, because a lot of those in the audience, you had a lot of black women that was acting up, speaking against us. They settled down, they keep walking, but back then they used to come up all up in your face and all that. And one day, Mo affectionately call him Mo, King Mashar. He would suck his teeth. He said, "Look, we don't need you Israelite women to build back the kingdom. We can build back the kingdom with any nation." So that's what came to mind when I came across this video. I'm gonna read the title. This is what being drunken with the wine of Babylon looks like. And a couple of precepts came to mind, but one main precept came to mind, and that's Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Babylon, which is the U.S., hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. I'm gonna look up that word, drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And who are the nations mad at? They're mad at you. Let's look up the word. Let's pull out a couple of words. Let's look up the word drunken. The Hebrew word is shakar. Shakar. And there's no root. Drunken, drunk, filled with drink. Abundantly were merry. To be or become drunk or drunken, be intoxicated. To become drunken, to make drunken, cause to be drunk, to cause to be drunk, to make oneself drunk. If you're drunk, you do things that you normally don't do if you're sober, if you don't have any liquor in you. You know, that's why if you get in a car, you think, you tell people, look, I can drive. I've been driving for so and so many years. And you wind up getting in a bad accident. And then you don't realize it when you're sober. So drunk is not just from wine, it's from philosophies, from ways of life. Let me just check some of these precepts here. Okay, you got 19 precepts and 19 verses. Okay, this is a good one. Genesis 9, verse 21. This is when Lot's two daughters, they each took a turn. They said, let's get our father drunk, because they figured there was no more. The only people that were left was the father and the two daughters. So they wasn't necessarily being wicked. They were just, look, if we die, there ain't gonna be no more humans. That's how they thought. So they said, look, let's get our father drunk and have sex, because he's not aware because he's drunk. So you had the first one, the daughter, do it. When you go back to the beginning. Matter of fact, let me do this. Hey, the scriptures say, matter of fact, let me get that. Now, a lot of precepts and thoughts are coming to my mind. I want to make this short. Key word is wine. Let me modify it. I might have to put some more words in there. Oh, this is a good precept. Leviticus, show not thy vow of valiantness and wine, for wine have destroyed many. Right. You get drunk, you figure you could drive, you all right, you good, and you wind up killing a whole family, and your life is completely changed. Ecclesiasticus 31 and 27, wine is as good as life to a man if it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad, to get men nice, to get women nice. Really men. Really men. Bear me for a minute. Let me do it this way. Let me modify it even more. Let me put in at the wine. Apocrypha. Bear me for a minute. Okay, it's the very last precept, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 9, verse 9. Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms. You know, all that stuff when you see a woman, you know, your friend's girl, and you give her a hug and a kiss, you shouldn't be doing that, man. Because if feelings can, you may be strong, but she might have feelings for you, and you're gonna sense them feelings. You're gonna have feelings for her. It's best not to look. If you got women, you and GMS, don't bring your woman around me. Don't bring your woman around me. Don't bring your woman around any of the apostles. Don't bring your woman around, even at the Passover. You know, you let these women make they got all come to the Passover. You got all these. You know who I'm talking. Well, I'm not talking about one particular group, but a lot of adultery comes with all this meeting with your woman and the fucking double dating and all that bullshit. It says it says sit not at all with another man's wife. Don't get in. Don't be in the same room. And you know what? I've been in situations where I was in a house with a brother's wife, and I never felt comfortable, man. I'm on my way, brothers. Chill out, you know. And I said, man, I'll never come to this man's house again. You know what I'm saying? Because women got feelings, and you got feelings. I remember this one woman. I was at this brother's house. This is years ago, and I was in there, and he went somewhere, and then we were talking a little bit, and then she kind of went into the room, And then she came back out and she said, I think you better leave. But she said it nice, and I knew what she meant by that. Basically, she wanted to pretty much say, I think I got feelings for you. So not to make this thing, and you got to pick up on it. A lot of you niggas know what the fuck is going on, but you play into it, man. You weak brothers. Try your best. This is a topic right here. Try your best to stay as far away as you can from women, unless that's your woman, your mother, your grandmother, your daughters. Don't even get around your nieces, because remember the story of Othniel and his brother Caleb. He said, any man that, what's the whole story? I was going through it a couple of weeks back. In other words, he vowed that if you defeat this city or whatever the case may be, you can have my daughter. But he put it out there in general, and his brother did it. So guess what? He had to fulfill his vow. So he wound up getting with his niece, which is not against the law, but it's a close relative. You can get with your niece. All right, you can get with your niece. I believe your certain cousins, but I know your niece you can get with. There's no law against that. But it's best just to stay from around women as much as you can, man. It says, Ecclesiastes 9:9 again, sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms. Not, oh, we just playing, we just hugging, we like, no. This dude's Johnson is going up, man. And she's got feelings on it. And spend not thy money, don't come out your pockets with that woman, with her at the wine. What does that mean? You go to a place where they serve wine, you take the wine, y'all drink a wine together, you're gonna have altered states. You're gonna be thinking about her. I like that song by the damn Edomite. Oh, I wish I had Jesse's girl. I wish I had Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that? Some white boy. Who sung that, man? Apostle Kabar can help me. I believe I forget his name, but I believe he was a actor. He was like a soap opera actor, but he was also a singer. But he did that song. Correct me if I'm wrong, Apostle Kabar. Rick Springfield, or Rick something. Anyway, it says, lest thine heart, thy mind, thy feelings, thy soul incline unto her. And so through thy desire, don't let me start singing some bars from my man Rick James. Thou fall into destruction. So what does that mean? The husband gonna find out, and the husband gonna kill your ass. So that's what I wanted. So now let's come back over here. Now where the hell am I? Okay, so I was reading some of these precepts here. So I can come back. You know what? Let me come on back, because I believe that I proved my point. Let me come back one more. Jeremiah, wait a minute. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. So is that talking about the Roman Catholic Church? Because the whole world is not Roman Catholic. It's talking about this westernized system, Babylon the Great, the USA. The nations have drunken, the dark nations have drunken of her wine, her philosophy. Therefore, the nations are mad. because it seemed like a good idea. What they give it to you. This is a good idea for you to accept a democratic lifestyle, become a Christian, this, that, and the third, and that's how they're gonna push that chip, and it's gonna make a lot of people mad, a lot of nations mad. So now let me come back over here. So now, if you, I'm not going to play it. The schoolgirls in Iran have removed their hijabs, which is like their headpieces, and it's against the law to remove you if you're a woman. And what happened was, if you kept up with the news, um, there's one woman that you have a police unit out there in Iran called what is it called, the the morality police. So they seen her with her hijab off, and they grabbed her up, and then next thing you find out she was dead. Could have beat the hell out of her, whatever the case may be. So now there's a protest again with these people, these Iranian women that are protesting it. So they're taking off their hijabs and they're protesting. But who's behind all that? We already know who's behind all that. That's that they pushing that women's lib bullshit. Now, when Mo made that statement, we don't need you Israelite women to bring back the kingdom, meaning you can deal with any woman and have sons. You can have number of concubines and build a nation through your concubines. You know, Israelites had concubines that they had children with them. So you can have children with the Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Zidonians, any of those, the Japhet. You can have children. Look at the Rock. The Rock's mother does. Hold up, wait a minute. The Rock's father, what's his name, Johnson, or Rock Johnson, whatever his name is. I remember him back in the day. Had, you know, he got with who did he marry? He married one of the wrestlers, Japhetic wrestlers. He fell in love with a Japhetic woman, and they had at least one child. I think they had more, but that they produced Rock, which Rock doesn't look like a Negro, you know, from the hood. He got a like a foreign look. He got an exotic look to him because of his mother. And that's why he's, hey, when you go into the whole story, I remember when he was a bad guy. This is when you had the WWF and it turned into WWE. He was always a bad guy. But guess what? Every time he came out, them Edomite women, they were digging him. You know, they wasn't booing him, they were digging this guy. And so they had no choice but to make him a good guy. And from there, he sprang into being actor. He's coming out with this movie called Black Adam. I'm a damn sure watch it. You know, he gonna get all into the character. You know, he gonna be the look. Watch how many people gonna look to see that damn movie, Black Adam. You know, he's probably the ultimate hero. But the guy that's playing him is a Jake. He even played Hercules. I don't know if you saw the movie that he did where he played Hercules, and Hercules was a Jake, a Hellenized Jake, known for his great strength. So they, you know, Esau, but he played out. Esau's played out, man. But here, the reason we know exactly why these young girls are doing that, because they're influenced by Babylon. Let me go here. Let me go to Revelation. Let me get ready to cut it short. Let me go to Revelation. Let's go to 17. Either 17 or 18. Let me try it this way. Bear me for a minute. Okay, it's here. Revelation 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying, unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And this is talking about the U.S. But a lot of, the majority of Christians, 98% of Christians, or 99% of them going to say, no, that's not talking about the U.S. You know why? Because they're from the U.S., they're U.S. citizens. They actually think that this is this place is blessed by God, with whom the kings of the earth, the other nations, leadership of the other nations, have committed what? Fornication. That don't mean that they had sex with America. That means that they in agreement. They're doing her bidding. They're drunken by her wine. And now every nation has what? Before you had every nation had a ruling king. Now you got to be voted in. Where did they get that from? They didn't get that from England. They got that from the U.S. And then France picked it up. And I believe that was 1787, if I'm not mistaken, when they killed Maria Antoinette and her husband. I forget his name. She had a white dress on. They killed the husband first with a guillotine. Then they had to sleep overnight, locked down. And when she came out, that white dress, that beautiful white dress was all messy and shit. And they grabbed that bitch. They put her head on a guillotine on a chopping block with the white dress and all, and they pulled that motherfucking guillotine down, chopped the damn head off. That fucking white dress turned red. And that's when they set up democracy. That was the second democracy. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm positive. The first democracy was America, and the second democracy was France. That's why they had the French Revolution. And then it went from there. When Esau went around the world, they pushed that democracy. So all these kings, instead of them being kings, they get voted in. So the nations are mad now. And you know what they should have did, and it'll make them look bad. They should have sprayed them girls. They should just line them women up and just spray them. You know, spraying with a can of Ray, if you know what I mean. To get order, to get back order. Certain sins unto death in Israel that you did, you made sure people watch. When you stone people, you got all the men in the city, and they will pick up rocks because it was a witness, and you had the witnesses seeing it, the kids seeing it. That was a big event, man. People were eating things, drinking. Some of them got drunk. I never liked that motherfucker anyway. And they started throwing stones at his ass, and he's dodging, dipping and dodging, and he gets hit and he limps a little bit. Then there's one blow that's going to knock him in the head, and he's going to fall, and they're going to bury him in rocks. And why do they do that? So you can see, if you do it, you can be the next one that gets buried with rocks. So all the nations, as I read in Jeremiah 51, all the nations are angry at this place. That's why when they press that button, they're going to press it with great enthusiasms. They're going to press it and they're going, yeah, you know? And the ones that's going to mourn the destruction of Babylon are the ones that are no longer going to make money. Because guess what? America is one of the dumbest nations on the planet, if not the dumbest, and the biggest consumers on the planet Earth. They'll buy anything. They'll buy it and they don't need it. So it says, Revelation 17, verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, meaning that's why you see these people, they're wearing suits, right? They're wearing suits and ties. They trying to act, they speak in English. Look, if you want to fly a plane anywhere on the planet Earth, the language, the universal language of aviation is English. You go to Germany, you go to Russia, the pilots in Russia got to speak English. Japan, the pilots got to speak. If you're the best flyer out there, you can't be a pilot unless you learn English. So if you don't know English, In order for you to be a pilot, you got to learn English. That's the official language, the universal language of aviation. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, but let me do this. I'm going to jump down to the verses. Fourth verse, and the woman was arrayed in purple and in scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations, wickedness, filth, and filthiness of her what? Her fornication. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Let me click on this.
Strong's G 4203. Parnuo. Parnuo.
You see the word porn in there, right? To prostitute one's body to the lust of another. So this fornication is they've been told that this is the best way to rule your government and to rule your people. Have an election system, and now you see it's all messed up over here. This election, people don't even want to vote no more. To give oneself to unlawful sexual intercourse, to commit fornication, to be given to idolatry, to worship idols, to permit. And when it says worship the image of the beast, it's talking about following their system. When you wear a suit and tie and you have a democratic process, that's part of the worshiping of the beast. The image of the beast. And the image of the beast is not a picture of Caesar Borgia. And anybody saying that they don't really understand the scriptures. To permit oneself to be drawn away by another into idolatry. So they're following these young girls. They're following the tenets of what do you call it? Women's liberation. That's what messed up you black woman. You black woman, ain't nobody want to be with no black woman. If you see a brother with a black woman, that means he couldn't do better. She couldn't do worse, and he couldn't do better. Any Jake would go get with an Ephraimite woman, an Italian woman, any woman, an Elamite woman. But he's with you because he had to settle with you because he couldn't do better. So what they're doing is they're prostituting out themselves. They're in bed. So now what I want to do is I want to go to Revelation. Okay, so it's in Revelation 18, verse 3, and Revelation 18, verse 9. So what them little girls are doing, what that woman did that took her hijab off and got arrested by the morality police and wound up getting killed, is because she saw some TV show. She probably saw Friends, a rerun of Friends, because the whole world wants to be Edomites, especially Africa. For you Kemetic Jakes, you know what's going on in Africa, mainly in West Africa. A lot of them women, most of them women, they bleach their skin, they bleach their hair, they straighten their hair, they bleach their hair blonde because they want to be white. People from Africa that hate Jake, they hate Jake because they've learned from Esau that you a nobody. So the Most High is gonna kill a lot of people. Papa don't take no mess. So Revelation 18:3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of a fornication. So what does the word wine mean? It means philosophy. What does the word fornication? That means you in bed with them. You're doing what I like what they're doing. It makes sense. I'm going to follow this ideology. And the kings, which are the presidents of the earth, have committed fornication. Why do you think? Why do you think the UN is in New York, in America? Why isn't it in Japan or in Saudi Arabia? Why is it in New York and fucking America? Because it was thought of by the elite at that time, the Rockefellers and many other, the Rothschilds and many other families. And they first put it out there as the League of Nations. That was after World War I. Nobody accepted it. Then they wrapped it up, changed the name, and they gave it to you. Okay, this is a new thing. This is called the United Nations. Which number? The League of Nations. Because what does the United Nations do? You get all the nations together in league with one another. So they accepted it after World War II, and the promise that we're not going to have any more wars. And you, how many wars have you had since the founding of the UN, the United Nations? So every year, like what, this is about 3 weeks ago, you had the General Assembly that comes the last few weeks of September, and you got all these different leaders from different nations. They come there and they speak, and it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's showing you this is Satan's seat, not just in America, but in New York, not even D.C. They don't gather to go down to D.C. They gather to come to New York. The World Trade Centers were in New York. The One World Plaza, whatever they call it, that they replaced the fallen buildings. It has one world in it, and it's built 1776, I believe it's feet high, and they try to time it where they can finish the job on May 1st, but they were off by about 2-3 weeks because there was a lot of wind. Mosai upset their enterprise. Committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. The leaders, they live rich, they live good. The majority of the people, they live in squalor, they live in poverty. You had this thing, where was it, Sri Lanka, where they chased the prime minister out, the president, so to speak, and they went into the palace. This dude had a big indoor pool. He had exercise equipment. He had maids. He was living like a king. Okay, where did I say I was gonna go? Okay, it says lament for Babylon, and Babylon is going to be destroyed. The whole of Babylon. It's not talking about the Vatican City. Revelation 18, verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication live deliciously, not the people, but the kings, the prime ministers, the presidents, with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. It's not the regular average everyday people. They're gonna pray. They're gonna praise. They're gonna cheer. It's them people that are in high positions, like the land of Israel. But the land of Israel is going to be utterly destroyed too. But it's going to be built back up. So this is just one more step to this man going down, man. Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. Let's try Jeremiah 50. Okay, this I didn't want this, but Jeremiah 50 and 2. Declare ye among the nations and publish. That's what we're doing. We the ones with the truth. We have inside information from the Most High. We're telling you what's going to happen. Biden mentioned the word Armageddon. Russia's going to lead into Armageddon if we don't do this and we don't. Well, I'm telling you, Armageddon is going to come no matter what you do. It's going to come. If you settle everything down, something's going to get stirred up and fired up again, and it's going to come. The charagma has to be initiated or given to the people, and then the destruction is going to come. You got Israelite groups looking at what's happening in Russia and Ukraine and how it's going to build up, and then we'll be out of here. No, you ain't going to be out of here until you're tested, until you're tried. That's why we here at Great Millstone GMS, we always go into the MOTB because we see it crystal clear. IUIC, they just begin to see it. Now they see it's the it's the CHIP. Now they see it, but they said, but you can get it and you can repent because they can hold it down and give it to you. So you're gonna get held down, get it, and you say, well, I got it in me. I might as well go shopping. At least I can eat. Shit, you wanted to get jumped by those 5 guys. It says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. That's what we've been doing. And the ones of you that turn your back on it, woe unto you. Publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Start from the 8th verse. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of what? Of great nations from the north country. That's the uttermost north is Russia. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, ICBMs, supersonic missiles, Satan 1, Satan 2, Moab 1, Moab 2. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All those missiles are going to do their job. 12th verse. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost most of the nations shall be a witness, a dry land, and a desert. That's America. This is the uttermost west. 23rd verse. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Now we know it's not talking about the ancient Babylon because they weren't destroyed by fire. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved literally, and the cry is heard among the nations. The super rich that became rich off of Babylon because of the consumerism, they're the ones that's going to mourn. The poor people, they're going to praise. They're going to praise the Lord. And then we're going to come and take the world. And then we're going to show them the Lord's statutes and commandments. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next one.